On this channel, I'm asking one specific question. What happens if you take traditional Asian tea making methods and apply them to European plants? In this video, I'm taking on the classic Chinese jasmine green tea and see if I can make it European. So what is jasmine green tea and how is it made? The process is quite simple. You got green tea and you're scenting it multiple times with jasmine flowers. And then you got jasmine green tea. Now, to make green tea, you pick fresh leaves, pass them through a step called shashing in Chinese or kill green, then you bruise and dry them. Now, of course, the tea plant Camellia sinensis doesn't grow naturally in Europe, so we have to find a substitute. As we've established in previous video, the best one I found so far is fireweed leaves, because it's already processed in Russia to make tea, and I've seen that it reacts really well to other processing methods. I have here a whole bunch of fireweed leaves I picked about an hour ago, and it's time to kill green. So I'm gonna use a simple gas burner, a big wok. I'm reaching for 250 degrees Celsius. So yeah, we're kind of here. Let's go! We can hear the sizzling. This is the water evaporating quickly. And I have to mix because the heat is not evenly distributed. We don't want them to be dry. It's not dry, it's like, it's really, it's warm. That's what we want. There's a nice smell, doesn't smell grassy. Those are barbecue gloves, by the way. You can see that it's starting to lose a bit of volume. That's normal as water is evaporating. Okay, you see? Some leaves are nice, others not really yet. It's actually simpler than what I expected. I expected it to go really dry real quick, but no, it kind of makes it so it's, you see, up. You can see how it's pretty kind of wilted, but not dry. It definitely shouldn't be dry at this stage. I might push it a little more, I think, actually. Slightly, it became a little darker. I'm getting a different smell now. Kind of that Maillard reaction. The volume went down by a lot. You can see it's much less now. Okay, I think I'm happy with the stage at which it is right now. Gonna stop it here. That's what it looks like. Okay, if I take it hard and press it like this, it kind of stays together, you know. This is kind of what you're looking for. This is good. There's a little green tea smell, a little grassiness, a little toastiness, something a little floral. Difficult to describe. So now we need to bruise it. Usually it's done by machines, but we can just do it but by hand like this. Basically, this step is done to shape the tea and to make it infuse better at the end. You should feel juices coming to your hand at this point. This is normal, and as you can see, it's like a little sticky. That's good. Look at how it compacts. That's pretty nice looking, isn't it? So yeah, usually if I did this without kill green, it would start to smell very floral, it would start to become very dark because of oxidation, but here it stays nice and green. So here's what we left with now. It's nicely bruised, still wet. There's still one thing we have to do before we infuse it. Put them at 90 degrees, crack open the door so water can come out. and I'm putting at 90 degrees Celsius until it's almost dry. As you can see, it doesn't crumble. It's not like crisp dry. It is dry to the touch. You can hear it as well, but it's not like 100% dry. Now this is ready to be infused. By the way, if you like these experiments and want to start making your own tea, you should download my free mini guide. And if you're really interested and want to go deep into the craft, I've made an in-depth course where I share all of my knowledge. Both links are in the description below. Well, I kind of spoiled it earlier, but what flower smells amazing and is widely available in Europe? Elderflowers. Ah, it smells incredible. When you pick these flowers, sometimes there's little bugs on them, so you need to let it rest a little so the bugs just go out. We certainly don't want bugs in our tea. What we want to do is pretty simple. We're gonna layer our tea with flowers and alternate. This is maybe too much flowers. Actually, I'm not sure. It feels like a lot of flour. Okay, so here we have it. Now we just gotta let this infuse, close it, put it away from the sun, and let it rest for 6 to 8 hours. I'm gonna let this one infuse overnight. Now let's zoom out to understand how scenting works. So as we've just seen, we created a plant lasagna. The thing is, our tea is mostly dry, but the flowers are fresh and so humid. Therefore, and because we are working in a closed environment, water will redistribute itself among our layers in an attempt to achieve moisture equilibrium. At the same time, the flavor particles from our flowers get transferred and locked onto our fireweed leaves. After 8 hours, we separate the leaves from the flowers and dry the leaves again before putting them back with fresh elderflowers. This is how you make multiple cycles of scenting and build up the elderflower aroma in the fireweed leaves. The taste is already much stronger now. Here I did this 3 times in total, and I think it was enough. In regular jasmine tea making, they do this 4 to 8 times. At the end, you just dry it completely. And boom, you've got elderflowers green tea. Now, I know this is not technically tea, and it should be called tisane, but then again, it doesn't reflect the processing methods we put it through. So I guess you could call it green tisane, maybe? But for simplicity, I just call it tea. Now, the only question that remains is, does it taste good? Wow, just smells amazing. So this is jasmine tea, and I'm gonna use the infusing recommendation for jasmine tea making as a starting base. So it's 75 degrees Celsius for 3 minutes. While we wait, I wanted to compare. This is regular jasmine tea, and this is our elderflowers green tea. You can see we have kind of bigger and thicker leaves. Okay, time's up. Wow. Oh. I'm getting the strong elderflower smell, but it's even better than when it's dry. I mean, it's good when it's dry, but it's even better now. And there's that slightly toasty and savory notes that I guess come from the wok firing. Here's the color. Hopla. I was scared that with the first infusion, the elderflower aroma would just fly away, but no, it's really well locked onto the leaves. I was not expecting this. Wow. Okay, let me think. Let me think how I can describe what's happening. First of all, I have the most important, it's really good. Now, what am I feeling? You definitely can taste the elderflower in the brew, so that's a success, I'm happy. And regarding the mouthfeel, I'm so confused. How can I describe this? It has kind of that Japanese green tea umami, but without the green tea, kind of that matcha taste. It's a different one, very different. So what we get is a little toastiness, probably coming from the Maillard reaction of the wok toasting. We have that elderflower scent coming through, and that surprising umami that I'm not sure where it comes from, but it really coats your whole mouth. It's actually amazing. So yeah, I think the infusion parameters are, well, 75 degrees for 3 minutes, that works. It might be one of the best ending results I got from all of my experiments. I'm really happy. Because I know there is a lot of Kung Fu enthusiasts watching these videos, I need to answer one important question. It does Kung Fu. Now, if you want to see more local tea transformation, check out my other videos. And until the next, stay rooted,